What's up, my super coaches? Welcome to the round two review. Another injury kind of round, if I must say so. Pretty a crap round for a lot of people. It was a roller coaster of a round, and some scores massive, some scores absolutely bottom dwelling. And I'm gonna go through each one, see what I like, what I don't like, and potentially some hints into our trades that we're going to do later on in the week. So let's get it out the way from the get-go. I'm going to go over the big topics that we have this week. And you can probably see that by the most traded out at the bottom here. So we have Trac Rozee, dreadful. He's going to be out for a long time. You can tell by the injury itself, no matter what happens, best case scenario, he's out for 12 weeks, something like that. And 28.3% of trades already out. And that's going to go up, that's for sure. We go Petrarca, 22.2 is also pretty much a must trade. He's out for at least a month from what I've seen. That's not great. We got Dyson Sharp, who is a dead rookie at this stage. He did an ankle or something under a Butters tackle on the weekend. I was there, the Port versus Essendon game as a Port fan, and it was a decent game Port standards wise, but yeah, it was a lot to watch, and he didn't have much impact on the game initially. You can probably see on camera. Look at the burn mark that I got from sitting in that sun. Ew. I could feel it already, but nevertheless, he rolled his ankle under a Butters tackle, I think, and then just got taken out for the rest of the game. And another thing that I have to quickly preface, I do realize the flickering in the back is caused by my lights. I have a new light setup coming, so I don't have to use the lights up top, so the flickering won't be here for much longer. But yeah, he's dead as well, which will probably be another 3 trade cycle that I might have to do. Again, I'm having to use a lot of boosts, but I'm still comfortable using another boost when we have prices that are only just going up and some that are staying. There's some that have gone up because they have played their 3 games, the ones that played opening round, and a few that are still yet to have their price changes. Now, traded in, we've got Dan Houston is definitely a pick. They're trying to feed the ball to him so much. Collingwood are definitely a change of last year. Worrell, that is, I think people are going a little bit too fast in Worrell, just my opinion. Like Yash is a great choice always. Holmes is fine. And Bolton, 2.5 people getting sucked into Bolton after a big round. All I have to say to anyone is don't chase last week's points because Caleb Sarong is a great example. 11 point something percent traded. Caleb Sarong in, everything lined up. Had a massive game before or quarter. That's why his score's so large. But a lot of people brought him in because of no buys. His matchups look pretty good. Out he comes, gets tagged by someone. I don't even know his name. 68 on the board, which is why you just don't chase last week's points because rarely it works out. But I'll go from the start. Defenders, as always. So Sinclair, 118. Really, he's going to be probably my best defender for the year. I'm going to be honest. He will rack it up at the back with the attention being put into Nas. Nas had a great game as well. So once his price goes down a bit, it might be worth actually jumping on him. I'm thinking potentially Sinclair and Nas together might be a play. Something to look into later on stages. Then with Rozee, already know about it. Owned by like 60% of the competition, so people are going to have to move him, that's for sure. I think that's what everyone's doing, is just moving Rozee to Houston and using that money elsewhere. Windsor, 53, pretty bad. I actually want to look at his midfield time, to be honest, and we can do that with DFS Australia. Shout out. If we go to Melbourne, I'm going to zoom out so you can see what I'm looking at as well. That's the lowest I can go, unless I zoom out even further. Yeah, that's the lowest I can go, and that's all you need. So Windsor had about 50% time in the midfield, so he's getting some midfield time. Just is not making the most of it, to be honest with you. 50, he had as much, look at that, 53 to 52% time in the midfield. Well, this is centre bounce percentages, so when he was in play, centre bounce-wise, it was only 52%, which is pretty good for his role, I think. He should be scoring better than that. I think it will take a little bit to gel to that new role, so I'm not worried just yet, but it might be something to look into in the future, moving on. If he's going to just keep getting 60s, 50s, 70s, it's not worth the pick. Got Jax, who's now on the bye, 70, brilliant. He's been a massive rookie for us, already got his first price rise. Grill, 43, not great, especially when we had lots of people that weren't playing, as in Lindsay getting dropped. How stupid of West Coast to drop Lindsay. I had Sarong fill in that role with a 48, which is also just equally as crap. So neither of these scores counted because it was my best 18 this week. It is also best 18 this week as well because we've got 4 more teams on the bye. I hate the buys so bad, these opening round buys. It's just stupid, in my opinion, personally. But yeah, 43 sucks. Lindsay didn't play. I'm not sure why. Apparently he's got one of the best kicks in West Coast, but they won, so maybe he doesn't come back. Who knows what's going to happen with him, but it's not worth the trade at this stage, as some people are trading him. I don't think that's the option. Coleman, I held, and I am glad I held because we're going to swap him straight back on field for Jax this week. That'll do. Lindsay might not play, but doesn't matter to me too much. Midfielders, Zach Butters, rolled the captain onto Zachy. I should have gone to Jerry matchup-wise, but I thought Zach would have a big one. Playing Essendon, they don't really have a designated tagger, and it was a day, clean, Sunday afternoon game, so I thought that he might have had a big one. He did indeed have a big one. He was my second best scorer for the whole round, so I'm not mad at the pick, but I know that it was a popular pick, so nothing special. Now, this is where I want to pat my own back when it comes to Zach Merritt. 107 is nothing massive, but he is going to be the lock-in 100 plus every week sort of guy that you really want in your team. Nothing really big, but always something consistent. He's so consistent, and a lot of people went to Sarong. I went to Merritt because he also doesn't have a bye, and I think that the pick is, it's a good one just considering all options pod-wise as well. Sometimes you want to have that difference. That is, I'll take that. Definitely 107. Clayton Oliver, 117. He's back once again. Had a big second half. It was only on rounds, I think, 50 to 60 at halftime, and then came home super strong. And I know Callahan got some attention put into him, which is what I suspected, is that Callahan would be the one to get attention put into him, which means that lets Oliver have a little bit more run of it. So I feel vindicated in the pick. He is going up in price, so that's great news. And I think he'll continue to rise as well as his matchups get a little bit easier down the line. It's a hard run initially, but I've got him for the long run, Oliver. I put the faith in him to put up some big scores, some ceiling scores in the future as well when he plays some of those crappier sides. And then Parrish, 67, looked like crap, to be honest. Wasn't nowhere near it the whole day. A lot of his touches just handballs to nothing or out of danger. Port's pressure was great. But yeah, you're going to get some 67 scores from Parrish every now and then just by... he's a little past it. He's washed, isn't he? So we suspect that. Carroll, 44, had no idea. Didn't watch the game in particular, but 44 is not great. I'm not sure what his role was in the day, so I might need to look into that a little bit more to see if the pick is worth it, holding him or put him to the bench. He's definitely not going to be a on-field safe bet once these bye rounds go over. And we've got lots of options in the midfield as well this week. Not a single bye here. So we've got some room to move some from here. Sharp, 14, got rolled. Yep, we know that one. Probably a trade next week if you can. Depends. We really are waiting for a lot of scans as well. We'll take Sharp. Rozee, scan regardless, I'd still move. Petrarca's had his scan and he's done for a month at least. So Petrarca, definite move. Rozee, a definite move. And then who was my other move? We'll think about it. It probably will be Sharp as well, just by him being a dead rookie now with the 14 average of 35.5. He's barely going to go up in price if he does. Watkins had a decent game, to be honest. I think he holds his spot, which is good. As sad as it is, the Rozee going out, it means Watkins will hold because Wines is back from suspension next round or upcoming round, which means Rozee probably just goes out for your Ollie lines, which is good for Watkins holding his spot. I think he should have held his spot anyway. It might have been like a McKinley or something like that that made way, but he'll hold. Murdoch, I'm glad they jumped down early. The 92 was handy, and he looks great in West Coast midfield. So happy with jumping early, and if you don't have him now, everyone's going to have him this week. So it's nothing special. He is a gun. Then on our bench, we had Tadekos, Bruin, and Jagger all not playing. All will be brought onto the field this week with no buys there. So a little bit fortunate when it comes to that. Then we got our rucks. We got Jerry, 199. Bang. I'm happy with the Jerry pick so far. He's not had a bad score yet. He's only had the 2 games against quite easy opponents, ruck-wise, so don't look into it too far, but I thought that having Jerry initially would be worth it, even with his price, just due to the run he has, and I was right. It might be an option to potentially move down to English later, because English looks really good, but we've also got Jackson, 113, who is also going to put up big scores, ceiling-type scores, kind of like what Jerry did, I believe, later rounds as well, so also... Rux couldn't ask for anything more. Sheasel has so much of the ball all the time. A lot of uncontested possessions this run, so it wasn't super big, but 124 is still great. I love, everyone's got Sheasel, of course, but he's always been one of my best picks since he came into the AFL, and I've had him ever since, so probably not going to stop having him until he falls off, which is going to be quite a while. Forwards, Petrarca, 86, still good for the amount of time that he had on the field. He was probably set for a really big game, then done his hammy, and the rest is history. Month out, definitely a move, I believe. Might be worth even bringing him back later. Depends on Gold Coast's run. I haven't looked into it too much, but it might be worth moving him back in later. Just with the not a lot of forward options, it might be worth to have a look after DPP comes into play round 6. Flanders, 81 is fine. You're going to probably get that 80 to 100 range from Flanders. And at his price, it's fine. Nothing special, but yeah, you take it. Budrick, 67. Now, what's disappointing in Budrick is a lot of he had quite a bit of the ball, but a lot of them were just hand passes. I was watching the game. It was a great game. And yeah, nothing super damaging. And I was looking in the kick-ins, and as you can see here, Bailey Dale is back to taking the kick-ins mostly. He had 8, and he played on 8 times. Budrick had 2, which is better than nothing, that's for sure. But Dale's taken 8 kick-ins, and he had a lower score than Budrick did as well. Is not great for our Supercoach. So he's gone up in price, but I'm looking to potentially move him in a couple weeks' time once we've dealt with our issues. Todd Marshall, 73. He always starts so well in the game. He's full of energy, but as the game goes on, he kind of loses it a little bit. He looks a little bit more like a forward as the game goes on. And yesterday, a couple of times, his direct opponent just took an easy one because he was just gassed. So it might be just because he was out for so long, fitness is coming into play. But his intercept marking is great for points, so I'm happy with that. And then Robertson, 95, he's also brilliant down back for... he's going to get that DPP soon, playing down back a little bit for West Coast. On the bench, we had double play, so all our forwards played. Cook, brought him in. I'm happy that I still brought him in. He looked okay. Sometimes a little bit... what's the word? Because he's young, so undisciplined might be the word. Late in the game, where he had a kick where it went last possession out of bounds directly back to Bulldogs that resulted in Baker's winning goal. So a little bit of decision making or just skill errors that come with experience. Not worried. He's got that roll down lock, I think, on the midfield wing. Lombard. This is what I suspected with the small forwards, to be honest. It was 20 scores. It reminds me a lot of Kako that I had last year. Just a constant cycle of, 20, then you get to 40 range, it's going up, and then it's back to 20, and that's a super slow burn, and it's hard to get rid of. So under all our options we had for the forward line. Lombard's fine, I think, and yeah, we just hold him for now. What can you do? People are trading him already, which is your choice. Bit of a privilege, I think, to be able to trade him if you've got no carnage on your team, as a lot of us already do. But yeah, it is what it is. And then McAndrew is definitely taking the main ruck role. Had a big third quarter, I believe it was, which really brought up his score. He was against English, who was going to be one of the best scoring rucks of the whole season. So yeah, at 79 at our flex for his price is absolutely, you take that no matter what. But yeah, that's basically the team we had this week. A score of 1,887. That put us in about top 5 or top 8, I think it was, for the scores for this so far. And if we go home, we'll have a look. Ranked in the top 7%, with our total score being ranked in the top 5. So it's definitely a better start than what I've had recent years. I've had to play catch up a couple times last year and the year before, but I've always kind of made it work by the end of the season. This one I've tried to open up aggressive by trades, using my boosts and that sort of thing, which I look to do this week as well. Potentially. It depends what happens. It depends what I feel like. But of course, we're going to swap Dacos on field for Watkins, Ruin for Sharp, and we're going to do Jagger Smith for Carroll. So that'll be our rolling. I'm not going to do a captains just yet. I'm going to do that in my trade video. But yeah, that's just an update for the team. So far, so good. So far, kind of good with a lot of injuries. I've got a bit of bad luck with Goulden, Trac and Rozee. Everyone has them, so it's not like it's in my boat as well. And then Sharp is not that big of an issue, so we'll sort it. But thanks for tuning in. Let me know your week went, and any tips for what we're going to do this week as well will be definitely handy. But thanks for tuning in. Catch you in a couple days' time.